Good evening to everyone. My name is Mpho, known as the USDT Master. So yes, so nice to meet you all. Thank you all for joining. So I'll just be doing a quick analysis or a strategy that I use a lot. That's called the zones. So that's what I'm gonna be explaining, and how to take your TPs on all the signals I send. I've been asked many questions, or when do I take TP1, when do I close up my trades. I'm just gonna explain everything today. So I hope you
Recording
take
in
notes.
progress.
I hope you will be able to take notes, gain all that understanding, absorb it all. So let me quickly jump into the analysis. It's not gonna be a quick meeting. By 9 p.m. would be done. So let me start. So as I said, I'm gonna be explaining what is known as zones. This is one of the topics that we cover on the time precision trading course. So there's a course also. Everything that I'm gonna teach you today is I'm gonna show you just the basics, small things, but there is a course that covers all the 9 topics. So it involves 9 topics in total. So it's kind of a lot, but it's not that much. So it's not that much. And we try to incorporate everything just to find that excellent entries. So yeah, today I'll be focusing on the zones again. So which chart am I on? Let me check. Let me go to the 3 hours. Let me see. Oh yeah, I'm on the 3-hour zones. So as I said, I'm using USDT. So I know most of you know where to find USDT. Just go there and you search for USDT or Dow Jones, whatever name you want to call it. And the time frames that I use most of the time, even if you check every time when I send an entry, it's either going to be on the 15 minutes, the 3 minutes, the 1 hour, the 3 hours. So those are the time frames I use lots of the times to find suitable entries. So I'm gonna start first with the 3-hour zones. So those are 3-hour zones. So zones, I use zones as support. So I've realized that USDT has supports and resistance on the zones. So, but there's also key levels, but that's not something I'm gonna focus on. Today I'm only gonna focus on zones. So how are zones created? So that's the first things. How do you know that a particular place is a zone? How do you know that that particular place is going to be retested again? How do we know that it's a support or a resistance? Because it's very important to know, because at that point, that's where you're either gonna take entry or you're gonna exit, or that's where you're gonna place your take profit. So a zone forms, it's easy how it forms, very, very easy. It's not a difficult thing. So if you can check this linear movement here, you can see that it's a lot of green candlesticks. You can see green candlestick, and then out of nowhere you see only a single red candlesticks right there, just one, and then it continues with green again. So we call that place a zone. And then how mostly I will write it, I will do like this. This is what I will do. I'll write on the side and I'll say, this is my 3-hour zone. So if you've been following my signals on the group, this is how I do it. I say 3-hour zone, and then I'll send an entry right there. So my entry, it's always just next to it, just above the candle, just above there, and then my SL is below it, just below it, and then I'll aim for the either. Oh, it's a lot of how I aim. So but yeah, as you can see, after that it gave us this buy that's been continuing. So that's a 3-hour zone there. So it came to just to retest the 3-hour zone, and it went back for buys. So let's try again. So let's check again. So again on the 3-hour time frame, we see that we have another zone there. That's another zone, if you can check. So the reason it's a zone, why do I say it's a zone? We said that it was green, and then a red candlestick right in the middle of it. Then it continued green. And then we see that we saw a break right there, and immediately it came for a retest right there. Came for a retest right there. What time was it? Okay, it was late at night, around 10. But it came again right there for a retest and gave us a strong sell. So again, that's called a 3-hour zone. That's a 3-hour zone. It's huge. Let me reduce it just a bit. Yeah, that's called a 3-hour zone, acting as a support there. Break, retest of 3-hour zone, and it gives you excellent entries. As you can see again, my entry, where was my entry gonna be? Right at the start, right there. Took the wrong one. It was going to be right there at the start. That's where my entry is, and then my SL is just above it. That's where my SL is, just above it. So either aim for the key level or you aim for the next zone. So just like that. And then again, so this is for this week. So if we're trading just using zones for this week, those were going to be your entries for the zones. Another zone happened right here, as you can see. Another zone that was retested many times. I tested 1, 2, 3 times. As you can see, this again is called a 3-hour zone. Why? Because the green candlestick, a red, just a small one in the middle of nowhere, then it continues green, green, green. So that place becomes a suitable support. As you can see, we came to retest it. How was my entry? As I say, my entry is just above there, above the zone, next to the candle. So I wanted just to touch there. And then my SL is below it. My SL is below it. So most of the time I risk 30 pips. So if you check with my trades, I always send that we're risking 30 pips per trade. So that's your 30 pips. You either go for the next key level or you go for the next zone. Or go for the next zone. As you can see, we broke here. So hoping maybe for a retest back there at the zone. So that's the 3-hour zone. What's happening here? Can't believe I didn't charge my... So that's the 3-hour zone. And I wanna also show you that, okay, here it's 15 minutes. So it's not only going to happen at the 3 hours. So even at smaller time frames, you can see zones, even at smaller time frames. So now we'll be looking at the 15-minute zone. So this is the 15-minute zone. Okay, so that's the 15-minute zone. So even with the 15-minute zone, it works the same way as the 3-hour zone. You want to see a lot of green candlesticks that are forming, or a lot of red candlesticks that are forming, and in the middle there's just a small red or green candlesticks out of many green candlesticks or out of many red candlesticks. So as you can see, this is an example there. We saw a lot of green candlesticks, green, 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 that out of nowhere a red candlestick appeared and it continued green, 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 and it continued. So as you can see, that was called the 15-minute zone. So again, if you've been following my signal, you'll see me sending something like that. Now you'll have an understanding why. I'll say 15-minute zone, what I mean with it. And then that was your entry. As I said, where's gonna be my entry? My entry is just like above the candlestick, just right above. And my SL is below. My SL is below. As I said, but most of the time I risk 30 pips. That's most of my trades. But if I see just below it, and then maybe aim for the high or aim for a key level, aim for the next zone, just like that. So the next zone here, it was here, as you can see. But this one was broken many times. So I'm showing it to you because there are places where it worked like too quick, because the retest was there. So, and then if it already got retested once, like it waking again for the second time, the chances become slimmer and slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. So most of the time, if I'm using zones for my entry, I'm gonna use the first touch. So immediately if it comes there for the first time, that's where I'm gonna take an entry. For the second time, I'm gonna be a bit cautious and make sure that I put my SL properly. I don't take extreme measure, extreme lots, knowing that it's a second touch of the zone. Because as you can see, this was the second one. It retested it here for the first time, which is good. You can take your risk. But if it comes for the second time, you can try because you trust the strategy, but the probability of it working, they are low. It's like 50-50. Can go against you not. But as you can see with this one, it didn't touch. It just went up. This one came, this candlestick, but it didn't come at our entry. So this was what? A first touch. This was the first touch. And then, okay, this one did not come fully inside. Did not come fully inside. So that's the 15-minute. Where's another example? Check. Here's another example. Okay, here's another example right here. So as you can see again here, we see a lot of red candlesticks flowing, and in the middle of nowhere, we see a green candlestick just appearing there. So what do? We're gonna take that place. We're gonna take that place, and it's gonna be our what? It's gonna be our resistance. And then where's our entry? Our entry is just gonna be there. So as I said, I risk 30 pips, but it's up to you guys how much you wanna risk. If you wanna risk less, but 30 pips, I've seen it as it's good. It's not too much, but it's too little. I know for most people 30 pips is very little. I know, but it's good. It's good. So you aim for the next zone, or you can aim for the low there. So or the next key level, just like that. So but most of the time I aim for the next zones. That's what I do, because here it was the 3-hour zone. If you remember, the reason it bought, that's because here below was the 3-hour zone. So most of the time my TPs, or I exit my TP1, it's mostly at the zones, if not key levels. Another 15 minutes here. As you can see again, another beautiful example. We see a lot of red candlesticks, red, and in the middle of nowhere again, you see a green candlestick. Then it continues red. So what's that area? That area acts as your let me check. That area is gonna act as our resistance. Again, where's my entry? My entry is just at the beginning, right there. Oh, use the wrong one. Right there at the beginning. My SL above it. And then there you go. Okay, let me conclude with this one due to time. So let me go to the last one quickly. The last one is the 1 hour. Is it this one? No, this one is the 3 hours. Okay, it's here, the 1 hour, the 1 hour zone. So even 1 hour has zones. Even the 1 hour. And here they didn't draw them. All I did. Oh, I'm on the 15 minutes. Sorry. Yes, with the 1 hour. So even with the 1 hour, same procedure. We want a place where we have a lot of green candlesticks, then out of nowhere you see a red candlesticks, then it continues buying. So that area, it's called what? It's called a 1 hour zone. It's called a 1 hour zone. And this is how I would write it. And then send the signal that we're gonna buy at that area. As you can see, we bought. And then same thing here, as you can see, a lot of green candlesticks, then out of nowhere a red. And I like this one because this one broke. So if it breaks, it's still good. It doesn't mean if it breaks we're not gonna use it again. It didn't work. You start to say, no. If it breaks, it's still good because it's gonna come back to retest. Came back to retest. So that was our retest. So our entry, as I said, just there. You want it just to come there. Yeah, I used the wrong one again. You want it just to come right there, just there. And then you go for it. So yeah, with this one, with 1 hour, okay, it turned here next to, okay, but this one I want make it a zone. Yeah. So it went there, it went 79 pips. So is there another example on the 1 hour? Okay, there is another example right here, a small one. So this one, it's not like a lot of red candlesticks. As you can see, this is just 2 red candlesticks. Red candlestick, then immediately a green, then a strong one. But still, this is a zone because it's a small candlestick. It closed as a small candlestick. And as you can see, what came to retest there, it was this, the 15 o'clock. So during the New York session, we came to retest the zone and we went for buys. So as I said, we saw the break here. This was the break. You don't say, it broke. Oh, no, say, yes, it broke. I'm going to catch it on the retest. And then there was the retest. Came for a retest, gave you a nice buy. I don't know how. But where do you enter? Again, as I say, you want it just to come back right there. You just want it to come there. I'm using the wrong one again. You want it just to come right there. That's where you want it. And you either aim for the next zone or a key level. Here we had the 34,000 key level. And where is your SL? Right below it. You want to put your SL just below the zone. And then that's that. So I'm gonna end it there. I wanna make time just to answer some questions.